In this video, I'll show you how to clean up that rat's nest of USB charging adapters. Rather than have 4 separate DC power bricks, or wall warts as some like to call them, you can replace all 4 of them with a single product like this, the RAV Power Bolt 4-port Smart Wall Charger. This will eliminate the need for a power strip and help you clean up your cables.
Big Nate
84.
Okay, let's get down to business. In the box, we've got the manual, the 4-port USB charging station, which happens to be 5 volts DC at 6 amps, and we've got the power cord. I've got some gripes with the power cord, but we'll get to that later. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that the power supply is built right into the device. No external power supply to find a place for. That is a big plus. Eli the Computer Guy, one of my favorite YouTube personalities, just did a product review recently of a similar competing product, but the external power supply was bigger than the device itself. So having an internal power supply is definitely a big plus for me, especially if your main goal is to eliminate clutter. The form factor is also very small, which is a big plus. It measures 3.6 by 3.5 by 1.2 inches, so it's very easy to hide behind a nightstand or on a shelf. A typical use case for this product would be to charge 2 phones and 2 tablets simultaneously. You'll notice all 4 ports deliver the USB standard 5 volts DC. However, 2 of them are designed for charging higher power devices at 2.1 amps, and those would be your tablets. And the other 2 USB ports are designed for lower power 1 amp devices, like MP3 players, maybe older smartphones, or phones that maybe aren't smartphones, that are just old school clamshell flip phones. How can you be sure that your USB device is compatible with this 4-port charging station? Well, just take a quick look at the power supply that you are trying to replace and make sure that the current and voltage requirements of your device falls within the accepted range. So that would be 5 volts at 0.1 amps minimum to 5 volts at 2.1 amps maximum. And basically you're going to be looking for on the back of your charger, it's either going to say something equivalent to 1 amp or something equivalent to 2 amps. So that's the thing you want to just make sure you double check for that, so that you can be sure your devices are compatible. Once you determine which of your devices require 2 amps and which require 1 amp, you may want to consider getting color-coded cables to help you keep everything organized. Operation of this device is very simple and straightforward. All you have to do is plug in the included power cable to a wall outlet, and that blue LED should come right on. Something to keep in mind is the brightness of this blue LED. If you plan to use this in your bedroom, this LED is pretty bright. It might act as more than a night light, so that may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing, depending on your sleeping habits, but just something to be aware of. You might want to put a little piece of electrical tape over that LED if you plan on sleeping in the same room. In case anybody wants the specifics, I have personally been using this USB charging station every night for about 4 weeks now to charge a Nexus 7 tablet, a Nokia Lumia 822 smartphone, and a couple of old Zune MP3 players, and the charging station has functioned very well. I will say this, I mentioned the power cord earlier in this video. So what I encountered is a faulty power cord. So the device actually worked fine, but what I think happened is there was something wrong with the contract manufacturer that provided this silly little, very low cost 2-prong AC power cord. What I found was that when I swapped out the power cord for a totally different power cord altogether, I didn't have any problems whatsoever. The thing worked perfectly fine. And what was happening was I'd plug it in, and sometimes the blue LED would light up and sometimes it wouldn't. And it was this intermittent kind of problem. And what I found is that when I took that power cord out of the equation and I replaced it with a new one, it worked fine 100% of the time. So anyway, let me know if you encounter the same issue. Definitely let me know in the comments here. And in the description of this video, I'm going to put some links to buy this product, as well as the colorful USB cables and a replacement power cable. If you found this review helpful, you can help me out by clicking on those links. Okay, lastly, I just wanted to mention a couple more things. Heat. So I had 4 devices plugged into this thing charging all at the same time, and the USB charging station was still cool to the touch, or relatively cool. So it was not getting to the point where it was like a cable modem or a router or something like that, where they just give off tons and tons of heat. That was not the case. It still stayed relatively cool and little heat dissipation. So that was a good thing. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that it is not a USB hub, so it can't sync or connect to a computer. It does not actually support USB connectivity, but only charging over USB.